Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Cordamt and we're gonna continue our playthrough of Pillars of Eternity 2 Deadfire. So, we are in the Temple of Toa-Moai and we are on the quest The Rite of Passage. We have to return to the Pool of Memories after defeating the initial 4 challenges in the arena. So, let's go see what they have for us. The Pool of Memories water seems more luminescent than before, and Humaire gestures toward the font with an open palm.
Congratulations, contender. Having endured the rite of passage, you earned the privilege to compete with other proven hunters.
Okay. She scoops a talisman from the pool and holds it dripping before you.
This token represents you and no other. Wear it proudly. It shall drink the essence of your actions, your triumphs, and your accomplishments, that the souls within these sacred walls will recognize them on your return.
She presses the bangle into your hands with a toothy smile. So we got the Crucible token. Grants Kazuari's Call. 1 per rest, yeah. Foe target minus 15% damage against the challenger for 20 seconds and plus 15% damage against a challenged enemy. Okay. Single target debuff. I am honored, I guess.
And we are honored to have such a talented hunter in our midst, Good Watcher. Your next challenge will take you outside the walls of this arena. The island demands an offering. Something to feed the pool of memories. Some relics sacred to this place have been taken and need returning. And others, undiscovered, await a hunter capable enough to find them.
She smirks, her serrated teeth barely visible between her cracked lips. And just how many of these sacred objects am I supposed to find?
It is assumed you will hunt with reckless abandon. And return all that you can, if only for the thrill of the pursuit.
Sure.
As for what is required, contenders are expected to return at least 1 relic sacred to the Seeker, Slayer, or Survivor, whichever face best aligns with the hunter within you.
Okay, and does this mean the Crucible has accepted me? When do I talk to the faces?
You survived the rite of passage, but you are yet shark-bait to the faces.
Okay.
But now you can begin to demand their attention through your actions.
Sure. She lowers her voice and leans close. She smells of sweat and peat.
Each area of the island draws the attention of a particular aspect of Toa-Moai. While you scour the island, watch as only a watcher can.
She straightens.
Speak with Ngari, Keeper of Memories, in preparation for your hunt. He will set the path before you.
Okay, I think it's this guy here.
Return with your trophy, contender, and may Toa-Moai guide your way.
She bows her head and turns away. Okay. Yeah, this is Ngari. Slim for Nomawa, the man before you boasts warm, avuncular features and grey patches his tightly curled black hair. He smiles warmly at your approach.
Greetings, friend, and welcome. You stand before the Keeper of Memories.
He bows slightly at the waist. You keep memories?
Don't everyone keep memories?
Shut up, shorty.
Those vanquished in the Crucible leave behind their weapons and armor, both often laden with memories of life. It falls to me to keep and protect those trappings and recollections.
Anything short of a full soul left clinging to a weapon is likely little more than dust, or entirely insane.
Everyone believes they know my work better than I do.
He chuckles. How do you preserve memories from these items?
We first wash the items in the pool, and in doing so, give the memories to the souls of this place. Thus do their deeds live on beyond them. Most items carry little more than the strongest memories of their use.
He plucks dismissively at his tunic as if to indicate its baseness.
A few, however, abundant with essence and charged with purpose, retain unusual attributes. These I care for, curate, and purvey to those worthy of their enchantments.
This guy speaks very slowly and it's starting to annoy me. With a warm smile, he runs a finger along one of the blades. These would be the artifacts Homer mentioned.
The Crucible recreates battles and conflicts of old, that today's hunters may hone their skills. The Pool of Memories is the library for these histories. These stories aren't told to the Crucible. Instead, items held by those who performed great deeds echo with these accomplishments. The Pool of Memories absorbs the past from them. As a contender, you will be expected to recover at least one of these relics. I can point you in the right direction, but first I must ask, which of the faces of the hunt do you seek to appease?
Okay, so we get to choose one of the faces. I mean, if I have to pick a face, I'm gonna pick Mr. Piggy face, the boar face, which is a surviving one. So I'll do anything to find an artifact for the surviving face.
The Tiebe o Waiapu has long had a reputation for being inhospitable.
The Tiebe o Waiapu.
Yet, the sounder of boars that call the valley home seem to flourish there.
Hey, boars.
Were you to return with proof that you had tread the valley's singular dangers, the surviving face would be well pleased.
Oh, but I can still say the same thing for the others. Okay, I need to find an artifact for the seeking face.
Every year we lose hunters to the Kohatkana expanse. Usually they're tracking last year's hunters. But nowhere in my notes have I found out what first enticed Kith to go prowling around that corner of the island.
Rank foolishness, I'd wager.
Not surprisingly, the expanse has become a sacred place to the Seeker. Return with something a failed Seeker before you left behind, and the spider will be pleased.
Okay, and what do I have to kill to find an artifact for the slaying face?
A group of drifters claiming to be eager contenders showed us their true colors. Days ago, while most of the arena slept, they helped themselves to one of our Slayer relics. Unfortunately for them, the boat they came in on sunk, and it is a very long swim to anywhere beyond the auspices of the Faces.
He chuckles quietly, sharp teeth glinting between his lips.
The thieves were last seen heading toward Wakupoko Loveld.
Wakupoko Loveld.
Slay them. Return the relic to the Pool of Memories, and the slaying face will be most pleased.
Okay, tell me about the faces.
The faces represent the tripartite existence of Tawamawai, the Slayer.
Okay, we know this.
Foreigners conflate them with the Changeling for good reason. He cannot be rid. The Stelgar embodies the Slayer.
We know that.
It is right and proper to respect all three, but all Crucible contenders must eventually make a choice and accept their true face.
Why can't a warrior embrace all three faces of the hunt?
In a lifetime of conflict, one can, should, and, with the onset of age, must. But in the Crucible, one cannot advance without championing a single aspect.
Okay, so never mind.
Your decision,
I'm ready to begin the hunt.
Gallarde. I will see the western doors opened for you.
Okay, so we're gonna do some traveling around the island, I guess? Let's see what we find. Quick save. That's just... Oh, this is... This place... I didn't go to this place. But maybe this is just an alternate route to getting inside the Crucible. I came for this one here. Okay, maybe. Pingaka Ravine. What are you? Thick, humid jungle gives way before you to empty air. A vast chasm divides you from further progress, descending to a churning white froth of water below. A bridge of wound rope crosses the gap, planks of dark wood supported between the strands. Examine the bridge. The thick rope has been well anchored, each line wrapped and tightly tied around one of a pair of heavy stones. The knots have long since crusted over solid, there's no untying them. The sun has bleached the wooden planks to a dull grey. Consider the quality of the wood. Survival. The wood looks good for burning, but little else. It will not likely hold much weight. Okay. Ability, reinforce the bridge with magic. Aha, web, nice. Aloth rests a hand upon the damp loam. Moments later, vines sprout forth, wrapping around the rope and wood alike, and spreading across the bridge until it looks like a natural part of the jungle. Okay, so let's just carefully cross the bridge. You step onto the reinforced bridge and it bears your weight with reassuring stability. You begin the crossing. The ropes feel secure beneath your hands and you move confidently along the structure. With a final step onto solid ground, you complete the crossing and find yourself among the thick foliage of the central island. Okay. So, Wakupoko Loveld. I think this was for the Slayer one. And they wanted us to find some kith. The forest thins into scattered glades along the western cliffs of Kazuwari. Trees stand sentinel overlooking the sheer stone plunge into the Deadfire Sea. You turn north only to enter a large open field ringed with wood and peppered with small clumps of dense forest. Clouds of insects hum over the rotting remnants of discarded carcasses. The path before you looks roughly disturbed. Investigate the scene. Though it's difficult to discern from the chaotic wreck of dirt and grass, it seems like multiple sets of kith tracks came from the direction you did and continued towards the coast to the northwest. Another set of tracks, though these from some manner of clawed beast, come from inland and follow the same path as the kith tracks. Okay, let's examine the beast tracks. The tracks appear to have been left by a Stelgar, a very large Stelgar. The tracks overlap the kith tracks and are overlapped by them in turn. It seems the creature was stalking those who would stalk it. Examine the kith tracks. 4 different sets of tracks appear, including a set that look Orlan. The others are more difficult to narrow down to a specific type of kith. The track seems pretty close together, as if those who left them were moving slowly and carefully. Okay, so we are hunting kiths, let's follow the kith tracks. The kith tracks bend around the field, largely following the tree line. You stop short as you come upon a scene of carnage. Congealed blood pools on the ground and gore spatters the nearby trees. Oh, wonderful. Flies cloud the air. We can investigate the kith tracks with explosives. The receding tracks part in opposite directions. One pair cuts directly west towards the edge of the island. These are evenly spaced and far apart, the length of the strides in directions the toes are pointed, suggesting the kith was running. The other pair trails along to the north. The prints suggest one leg dragged behind the other, and the ground is spattered with drops of blood. Ah. Nothing else about the track seems significant. These are explosives, right? Yeah, weird. Examine the carnage. You identify the remains of 2 kith. One an Omawa, the other folk, probably. The pair have been rent by claws and chewed extensively, some of their limbs largely clean of bone. Though little save ruins remains of most of their equipment, you find a few salvageable goods, including a ruined token from the arena. Okay. Let's follow the unwounded kid's tracks to the west. Or search for the presence of spirits. You open yourself to the presence of wandering souls but find none. This forest does, however, almost glow with the ambient essence. Okay, so unwounded. You cut west into the deepening forest, following the tracks as they grow further apart, the trail left behind them broad and bordered with broken bows. They end abruptly at a cliff overlooking the sea, and you discover the broken corpse of a fur-clad folk on the rocks 15 feet below. Oh, poor man. Seabird's peck at the remains. Determine how he died. Between the scuff marks on the edge of the bluff and the sprawled body below, it seems likely he ran out of the forest and off of the cliff. Okay, check the corpse for valuables. The climb down to the corpse isn't difficult, and you find among the dead competitor's gear some hunting supplies and a few spark crackles. Oh, nice. Cool. So, backtrack and follow the other kid tracks. You return to the scene of carnage to locate the other tracks. The kid's trail leads north along a winding path through the forest. Every few feet you find blood smeared across a leaf or pulled within a footprint. The steps grow increasingly close to one another as you follow them, and you find dried blood crusting some of the trees. Then, ahead of you along the path, you make out a figure seated in the shade of a thick trunked tree. The dwarf isn't moving. Let's use a spyglass. Through the lenses of your spyglass, you can make out the faint rise and fall of the dwarf's chest. His beard is matted with blood and he cradles one arm close to his chest. Let's approach it. You make it to the tree and find a solidly built dwarf clinging to a small pack. One swollen eye half opens and gazes through you. The hunter's voice rasps through dry lips. "I am Slayer of Champion," he coughs weakly. Examine his wounds. Bone and viscera are clearly visible within the rent in his armor and skin. You're pretty sure that his liver is sliding out of his belly. The incredible thing is that he's held out as long as he has. Wow, hurt him to lure out the beasts. Heal him. The magic washes over the hunter without much apparent effect. He's beyond magical healing. Let's put him out of his misery then. With your single decisive wound, the man's little remaining life dribbles from his throat. His eye glazes over and his chest stills. Set up a trap. You doubt you have time to set up anything as complicated as a pit trap, but you could set up a mechanical trap or rig a simple snare. We can place a magical ward. We can set up a bear claw trap or a burning ground trap. Let's place a magical ward. Oh, cool. Shoti wards the ground near the kid with a mystical sigil. So let's make noise to lure out the beast. You pick up a pair of sturdy sticks and repeatedly strike them together. The crackling of the woods echoes among the trees. Assuming your gambit worked, it shouldn't take long for the beast to arrive. Let's lie in wait. You hide among the greenery and await the arrival of the beast. It doesn't keep you waiting. We failed our sneak check, of course. A small pack of Stelgar stalk into the clearing, each lithe saber-toothed cat, shoulder high to an elf. The largest of the creatures is wounded, what looks like a shard of hot metal piercing it just behind the neck. Their eyes remain steadily locked on you as they prowl nearer. Okay, so they're gonna set off the trap, I guess? I don't like getting surrounded, though. What is my trap, by the way? I don't have a trap. Okay, so yeah, I don't like being surrounded here. Let's start defensive. Okay, so it there is going to try and come over here to lure the attention of all of these. And Mr. Piggy goes over here. They actually are a higher level than me. And you are gonna buff up as usual. Okay. Let's make this like this. Oh, Mr. Piggy cannot cross? Wait, don't shoot again. I shot that one, but I wanna bring this guy back while Mr. Piggy is buying time for us. Yeah, okay. So you can tank here. You can go for lightning. Shoti can go for devotions for the faithful. And that seems good enough. And after that, I want the symbol of Aethys that apparently did not work as a trap. But that's fine. I did not put up a chill fog, so I think I can simply use something like this. It's actually pretty accurate. Go for it. And I forgot to buff it there, of course. Okay. Mr. Piggy is tanking over here. Nice. Petrified, 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 petrified. Not petrified. Okay, so let's go for a combusting wounds. And then I'm thinking just spam chain lightnings. Or maybe something like this. Yeah, okay, so wait, cancel that. Combusting wounds and then a missile salvo. I'm considering doing this. There shouldn't die to this, right? Nah, let's not. Something might go wrong. Let's focus on that guy. Okay, I'm taking care of that guy with my rogue and Mr. Piggy.
That's it.
Okay, we have combusting wounds on all of the kitties except the Great Stelgar. Let's go for an Ondra's Gift. Missile salvo. Woo! Man, look at the damage. This guy is still alive. Shorty, don't die. You can just smack him, I guess. Go for this. I can also go for this. You are shooting. Actually, you shoot over here. There you go.
That dog won't hunt.
Yeah, this is done. Okay. Pretty simple fight.
Oh.
Being ambushed at the start is or can be kind of problematic, but thankfully it wasn't here. Cinder Shard, quest item. The aggressive soul energy raging within this slim slice of steel seems to warm it from within. Okay. As the bright glow approaches, the rhythm of a heartbeat, not your own, thumps in your head. The light coalesces into the muscular features of a hulking Omawa striding towards you.
Oh God!
The spirit shrinks away from the glow with a terrified yelp.
Water!
The soul roars as if in challenge. He points a thick, gloved finger at you.
I wanted tougher, but you will suffice.
Who are you?
Who are you? I am the Slayer, the fastest and the strongest.
What, is this like the soul that governs the face of the Slayer?
That you had to ask speaks ill of your mind.
So what do you want?
Return your trophy to the old man. There is much left ahead of you to hunt, and far more to kill.
The lines of his face lose what definition they possessed, blurring into a featureless mass until the entirety of his form evaporates into thin air.
Well, wasn't he fun?
Any idea who that was?
He suggested he was the slaying face.
Okay.
At least the Slayer. Poor attitude aside, he knew of Ingari, and he knew what you're up to. You should be careful.
He seems to want us to kill someone or something.
Do you think this is why Gallowayne didn't want you here? Maybe the Slayer wants you to kill the gods!
Doubtful. Let's go.
I wonder if we'll run into more like him if we continue with these trials.
Okay. Well, that's one artifact done. But the one that I really want is the one for the boar, so... let us continue exploring the island. The Kohatekana Expanse. The deeper you travel into the island's southwestern wilds, the denser the jungle becomes. The air thickens, heavy with humidity, and the impenetrable canopy allows only the faintest light from the sky above. The path narrows into gloom before you, the persistent drone of insects subsiding into soft whispers on the edge of on the edge of hearing. Enter. Tendrils of grey fog creep across the roots and vines, slowly rising, reaching, as you push further into the island's expanse. The air grows opaque and quiet murmurs carry on the faint breeze. Tendrils of grey fog creep across the roots and vines, slowly rising, reaching... oh, same thing, sorry. Just as it reaches its thickest, the foggy morass parts like a curtain, revealing again the path before you. It forks to the left and the right, each path looking roughly as passable as the other. Inspect the paths. There is no hint of tracks here, neither animal, wilder or kith, as if this trail has never before been traveled. The paths to either side seem uncannily similar, almost symmetrical, as if a pane of glass runs between them, one the reflection of the other. The trees bend above like long, many-jointed legs, and their limbs entwine with vines into an impermeable tangle. Let's go left. You follow the trail and quiet rustling sounds murmur from the obscurity of the undergrowth. The path forks again before you. Between the two paths you find a simple statue, a stone pedestal topped with the many-eyed face of the Seeker. Examine the statue. The statue has clearly been standing at this fort for ages, the lines weathered, the details worn away by the elements. Moss grows across the base, and vines hang down from the spider-like head. The Seeker's eyes stare at you, unblinking. Yet everything about the sculpture, down to the draping foliage, seems impossibly symmetrical. So the only thing different is the eye missing there. Everything except the one eye missing from the statue's left eye, okay. Interpret the statue's meaning with history. The Seeker is rendered with an eye missing, or perhaps the eye has been removed since, the statue defaced by some other contestant in the island's games. Takehu examines the figure. Strange, isn't it? The Seeker being presented as blinded? Partially so, anyway. Think the Seeker's cult respects the blind any more than the Slayers the feeble? So, what? He's saying that since she's blinded on one side, this side is not respected? And maybe that's a hint for where to go? Okay, so let's go to the side where she's not blinded. Take the right trail. The jungle grows darker as you press ever more deeply into its heart. The path forks again before you, and while the split looks slightly similar to the last, you can tell it bears enough differences to suggest you're making progress. Between the two paths you find a simple statue, a stone pedestal topped with the many-eyed face of the Seeker. Okay, same thing. Ah, but now it's different. Okay. So, the last time it worked, so let's go left this time. Suggest you're making progress. Examine the statue. Left again. You continue into the growing gloom. To every side grow gargantuan trees, their upper branches disappearing into the darkness above, and the path winds among their bases, each as broad as a castle's turret. The path separates again, but this time there's no splint and no bust of the Seeker. Instead, you find a third path, central between two others. While the paths to either side appear almost reflections of one another, the central path looks cramped and overgrown. It descends into a dark cave. Let's go down the middle. You enter the cave, making your way through the winding darkness. For a time you hear nothing save your own breathing. But then the whisper of insects draws you forward, growing gradually until it almost sets the air to humming. 22 hours passed. The cave disgorges you into the jungle, though the darkness is so deep you do not at first realize you've emerged. The chittering of mandibles and movement of heavy, many-jointed limbs echo above and around you. Search for enemies. You see nothing to attack and nothing likely to attack you. Then let us continue. The path broadens before abruptly terminating in a broad open clearing. For a moment it seems as if the jungle itself is aglow, each tree limned in faint green, but then you see the source of the illumination, a skull almost afire with soul energy. You get no chance to retrieve it, however, as spiders descend upon you from the darkness above. So, ambush again. This time by spooders. There's a soul over there. Oh. So, not an ambush, actually.
Wait. Look there.
Okay. Let's just do the usual here. Let's send... Oh, I lost all of my buffs. What? I was like, I'm used to having 10 discipline by now. It's because of this for sure. Maybe going down the central path was not the correct choice. Yeah, we lost all of our buffs. That's kind of annoying. Okay, so we have some weaverlings and some dire weavers. I'm just gonna bleed 2 here and hope that the driving flight will bring them to the back. I don't expect this to be very difficult. I'm just gonna go for something like this. Actually, let's go for lightning here. You buff up because you can, basically. And then just AoE them down. And Takehu go for a chill fog here. Mr. Piggy, go fight. Okay. Nothing special here. I'm gonna put the symbol of Aethys over here and try to maybe pull that guy. Oh, I forgot to buff. Okay, no, just fight here then. So you can just shoot, I think. Or I can just AoE them down. Like this. And I'm even gonna hit the one behind. Yeah, do that. So my rogue focuses on this one then. Just like you do. Takehu, go for lightning.
This does not work. Distraction.
Back up. Back up, Shorty. Wow, he barely took any damage. Oh, he's paralyzed. Wire weave. Okay. Ow, bitch. I'm also immobilized now. Mr. Piggy, come take the attention of this guy. It's annoying because I can't move, so I cannot reach anyone. Okay, let's get some tentacles over there. Can you move? He can move. Shorty, give us suppress afflictions.
Damn the laddie.
Okay. So Piggy, go over there. Does this damage over time? Wire weave. No, I think it just damages when hit. Still, I think I want a Moonwell here. And let's blind the bitch. Whoa! Okay. She blinked. Okay, you guys stay here.
Alright.
Shorty, you can actually swap for your bow here. Hey there, go for her. Let's kill this one then, quickly.
That's not very helpful.
Lightning. Let's impregnate the Dire Weaver. Oh, they spawn little weavers. I see. Let's AoE these down then with Aloth.
This thing isn't doing the job.
Okay.
I am stuck.
Pretty easy so far.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is futile.
Dead. Oh, I'm immobilized again. 14 seconds immobilized and I don't have my bow. Let me use this. What did you do? Activate deck of endless possibilities. Ooh, +2 to all power levels. That's cool.
That dog hunt.
Okay.
Move.
This is starting to annoy me. Put a vine over there. Kill that. Oh, come on, really? Combusting wounds. And then, like this. Okay.
It makes no difference. Better than that.
Okay. Oh, come on, really? That was very smart of you, I have to say. He just completely dodged my AoE there. Go like this then.
Rather difficult to concentrate.
This guy is a god. This spider is like the smartest enemy I've encountered thus far. What the hell? Like, honestly. He dodged the spells, he interrupted the spell. Oh, I forgot about this. Try to scare them. Devotions. More lightning.
Confound it! It usually works.
Okay, you're taking a lot of damage there. Let's get away from here because this bitch is going for me. And you go over there.
Not too long.
Okay, Shoti can likely deal with this. Let's go for the cleansing flame. I never use this.
But I'm slowly dying.
Just... You're not slowly dying there. What the hell, man? I think it's just because he has the poison on. Go for this.
That was about as useful as a bump on a pickle.
And the final one is about to die.
Use something to put a little pep
And
in
done.
this step.
Speak your mind. The pleasure is mine.
Pretty simple as well. One more artifact done. A soul shimmers before you, her faint glow unreflected by the trees. Flowing gossamer silks sheath her form, and long black tendrils of hair crown her head.
Do you see her too?
My blade? It has found me once again.
Your blade? An ephemeral hand reaches out to Merrick's Amanth to grasp at the ancient dagger, but the soul stops short. Is this the soulbound dagger that we picked up a long time ago?
The crucible still serves its purpose, bringing Gallowaynes devoted to battle, bringing battle to Gallowaynes devoted. But a wound, a tear, festers in the heart of this place.
A wound? What kind of wound?
I ask you to risk life and limb in the crucible. But the desired outcome is not your death. The future of this place depends upon you seeking the champion's crown. Souls that prowl this island writhe in disharmony. Without your help,
The image falls silent as the woman's form loses definition. In the span of a breath, the apparition dissipates entirely, her words unfinished.
Oh, where'd you go? Hello, spirit lady?
I really don't appreciate this guy's humor, honestly. He thinks he's funny. It's not funny. Any idea who that was?
Not a clue. Perhaps she was the Seeking Face. Or perhaps some other poor soul trapped here on Kazuari.
Do you sense a turmoil she spoke of?
Not really, but I don't feel trapped here. Exactly. Not like she does. I came willingly, after all. Died willing. And I've got you, right?
Let's go.
Perhaps if we complete the other trials, we'll find similar spirits. And hopefully they'll be a touch more cheerful.
Yeah, this guy is getting on my nerves. Okay, let's go for the final challenge then. The Mr. Piggy one. Tiebe o Wayapu. A long arid expanse stretches before you, bordered on either side by dry, jagged cliffs. A handful of sharp-leafed trees and scraggly shrubs share the landscape, but the miles are otherwise desolate. In the darkening distance, you make out a faint red glow high among the stony promontories. Spyglass? You set your spyglass southwards towards the distant peaks. Through the lenses you see no reddish light at all. You lower the instrument and the strange illumination reappears. Perhaps it's a natural illusion, some trick of the atmosphere. Thoughts? It there frowns down the length of the gorge, not looking forward to it, but the only way we're getting to the end of this valley is through it. Fair enough. Let's go. You pick your way among the dry stones and thorny brush. You swipe at stinging insects and scare off hissing lizards. The land itself seems set against you. The valley narrows for a time to the point where only two kith can walk abreast. You approach an ancient structure of stacked stones. The stones appear precarious. Okay, let's use magic then to blast it apart. With a resounding blast of arcane might, the stones are knocked from their perches and fall into the ground below. You pass through without difficulty. Yeah, man, magic does a lot. You still with me? Huh? Why? Is there frowns working at a bandage with dirty fingers? I live yet? At least we're getting closer to the end of this place. I'm confused. Check on the glow. You've made some progress down the valley, but the light still seems distant. Okay, continue then. You continue on, forging ahead against a hostile environment. The rocks shift above you, then tumble down the cliffside. Okay, so I can leap to Shoti's defense with athletics. If it's a watcher only, I'm gonna get hit. Or I can let Shoti fend for herself. Nah, she's my lover, so... Okay, never mind. Because I have a wound already. She has none, so I think it's better to spread these apart. Let Shoti fend for herself then, sorry. 12 con. One of the stones strikes Shoti across the back, but your compatriot shrugs off the hit and carries on. Strong woman. She was injured though. Wrenched shoulder. You still with me? Hands on her hips, panting, Shoti shakes her head. It didn't matter if I had scrapes, bruises or bones poking out of my skin. Uncle Hangbert always told me the same darn thing. Walk it off. So don't you worry about me. I'll keep on going right up until I'm dead. Okay. Continue. Same thing. As you make your way forward, the pebbled earth shifts out from under you, plunging you into a hidden crevice. Aloth grabs you and hauls you back up to solid ground. Okay, good. Not good. Sprained wrist. Wincing, Aloth cradles one arm. You still with me? I guess they want me to ask everybody that gets injured? Aloth frowns peevishly. That depends. Is there a purpose to this track? And more importantly, a cool glass of palm wine and a long, warm soak at the end of it. Continue going. A wide crevice opens before you, spanned by a line of old rope. Yeah, I'm not gonna try athletics. Let's look for another way around. It takes several hours, but you manage to circumvent the gorge. Yeah, I'm guessing that if we had buffs on, this would also be a way the game has to remove them. Okay. Well, you still with me, Takehu? Takehu raises his finger to form an answer and then abruptly heaves forward to vomit into the sand between his feet. What the hell? He blinks up at you and parts his lips in a weary attempt at a smile. Akira, I am fine. You? Very, very weird interactions here. A boulder blocks the path and you have to push it out of the way. You succeed, but as it rolls aside, it crushes Aloth's hands. Cradling hands to chest, Aloth begins to lag behind. So now this guy also broke his hands. And he's currently busy, so I cannot use him. I'm starting to think that with all of these injuries, plus the fact that this option is here, and that Takehu says he's vomiting, it's expected to have a lot of these. I'm just gonna carry on. I am wondering though what would happen if I came here and, for example, Aloth already had 3 injuries. Would he just permanently die? Because that would be goddamn awful. Okay. Darkness falls as you continue deeper into the valley. The footing seems even more treacherous in the gloom, and soon enough, Takehu slips and falls, head knocking hard against the stone ground. You help your companion up, only to be waved off. I'm fine. But Takehu's progress has noticeably slowed. I will say, if my buffs hadn't already been lost, I would be kind of upset right now. Continue. The path threads through a narrow pass between two titanic slabs of stone. It there slips, but manages not to fall. Woohoo! With a wry smile, your compatriot continues ahead. You find the valley beyond partitioned off by a veritable wall of dry brambles. Let's burn them. Really? Shoti's blaze clears the plants ahead of you, but a flaming branch falls upon your companion. With a groan, your companion resolves to carry on. God damn it. Oh, I think we're finally almost there. How are you holding out? Shoti? Hands on it. Oh, the same thing as always. Okay, carry on. Of course. As you pass a series of holes in the rock, spiders roughly the size of your fists pour forth, swarming over your party. You fight them off with little difficulty, but it there suffers a few vicious bites. You notice your compatriot begin to straggle behind. Carry on. As you trudge along the valley floor, the sun beats on your party, blistering Shoti's skin. You notice your companion begin to slow behind you. Well, all that's left now is me. Yeah, so like, what would happen if she already had an injury? She would just die? You continue on, forging ahead against the hostile environment. Okay, so this is a surviving trial, right? So I guess it makes sense. When you finally reach the end of the valley, it almost comes as a surprise. The cliffs loom above you, crowned by their faint red illumination. Or perhaps that's simply the glow of the setting sun. 9 hours passed, so once again all of my buffs are gone. Check on your group. Though the remainder of your party lags some ways behind, they're more or less keeping pace. So rope and grappling hook. I'm never gonna do this because he has zero athletics. So just... I also don't have con, I'm gonna break my legs. Climb the cliff. Of course. After the ordeal that lies behind, the climb up the rock face taxes your dwindling reserves. By the time you reach the top, your muscles ache, your mind swims, and your vision blurs. You're alone at the top of the promontory when you hear something moving around a nearby rock. Let's await the remainder of your party. You resolve not to press on alone, but the rest of the party makes little headway as the sound gets ever nearer. The red glow grows as its source comes into view, a necklace crafted from a shard of vermilion adder. The necklace hangs from the tusk of one of the largest boars you've ever seen. Oh, this is not good. Am I gonna fight him alone? Oh, I'm not gonna fight this alone. Oh, right. At least I have Mr. Piggy. Oh, and Chauncey running to the rescue. Chauncey. Well, I mean... I can have Mr. Piggy tank and gain some distance and just keep on shooting him. Mr. Piggy wins, right? Mr. Piggy is the strongest piggy. The large boar, its quills bristling, snorts and stamps its hoof. The beast is taller than you are and much heavier, all muscle, bone and tusk. Here, piggy, piggy, piggy. This is a diplomacy 1 check. The boar's eyes narrow as it snorts. You've never seen an expression of greater incredulity on a boar. It stamps on the ground like, what is this idiot doing here? You look hungry, fella. Here, maybe I've got something you can eat. Its head tilts to the side slightly, ears twitching and snout a quiver, and it cautiously hops toward you. So I can feed him Orland's Cradle. I don't even know what this is. You like Orland's Cradle? Everybody likes Orland's Cradle. Or I can feed the boar pork. I bet you love pork, don't you, boy? No, this is cannibalism. Let's go for this one. The boar sniffs at the mushrooms, then eats them out of your hand. Despite its size, the animal is surprisingly gentle. It sniffs at you as if seeking more. Aww. Oh, let's pet the boar. Ooh, murder the boar, Jesus. The boar cringes slightly as you move to scratch it behind the ear, but as you pet it, it relaxes, pressing its head into your palm, softly nuzzling at your belly. Yeah, I'm not sure if I would want these massive tusks poking at my belly, but okay. Let's take the necklace from the boar's tusk. The boar blinks quizzically as you remove the necklace from its tusk. We gain the Crimson Crystal. Leather band secured this piece of corrupted adder to its cord. Notably, the accessory makes no use of copper. Okay. So there's a diplomatic way to do this. Nice. The wispy, shimmering form of an Omawa approaches you cautiously, their posture crouched and wary. Numerous scars and burns dot the soul's lanky limbs, but their face is a diffuse blur, devoid of defined cheekbones and jaws.
An Amawa soul. Do you see him? Or her? Them?
Though that may live.
What? The figure gesticulates as if to speak, but only distorted fragments reach your senses. Are you asking for this relic?
No. Its memories must join the Crucible. Learn from that relic. Grow as hard as it, that you may live to restore the Crucible.
So this is like the aspect of the surviving phase? The figure lurches forward, its posture urgently pleading, but no words are spoken and the form dissipates into nothing.
Well, that happened.
Again, you are not funny. Were you able to understand it any better than I was?
I speak spirit, not... It's like it was reaching out from somewhere far away.
Any idea who that was?
Hard to say. The surviving face, perhaps, or a soul
Okay.
connected to it.
Let's go.
I'll bet we learn more by completing the trials.
Okay, so my people are down here.
I hear you.
Okay, so even if I were to face the boar, I could still have my party helping me out. Okay, because I could stealth and then just run back. Okay, well, I am gonna rest here before anything horrible happens to Shori and she dies. Yep. Rest. And let's carry on. So now we have one thingy for each of the faces. I still have this burial site. Turquoise, a war bow, and that's all. Okay. And this is still not available. Okay. So I want to go there. I cannot... Oh, I cannot cross to this side of the island? Without going to the Crucible, maybe. Okay, well then just go there. Let us complete our quests here. Okay, so.
Contender?
Humayr bows her horned head at you. I need to know more about the... Okay, well, I need to know more about the souls not being in harmony.
The Crucible is alive with the souls of many warriors, and their countless memories of battle. Through their song, the Faces rouses these souls to take form. They provide endless opponents. The souls do not speak to me in words. I am no watcher. But they do little to hide their tempers. I sense fear and anguish. I'm sorry. This must be what it's like to have a sick child, unable to explain what's wrong.
So, I've retrieved an artifact sacred to the Faces of the Hunt.
Excellent. Place it in the pool of memories, as you did with the bloodied knife during your rite of passage.
Okay. Okay, so it's the same thing. And I want to give the surviving face one, which is the Crimson Crystal here. Endure the Survivor Stand series of Crucible Arena events. Because I have 3 of them. Earn the favor of either the Seeking Face, the Slaying Face, or the Surviving Face. But I can just do everything, right? Pursue victory in the Seeker's Path. Wreak havoc with the Beasts of the Slayer series of Crucible Arena events. Okay. And these are the events. Man, 9 events? Well, the next episode is going to be a lot of fighting then. That's good at least. So yeah, the Slaying Face, the Seeking Face, the Surviving Face. Earn the favor of either of them. Okay.
Happy to oblige.
Well, I'm not gonna go for any of these right now, I don't think, because it's gonna be probably a long fight. But I intend to go for the Survivor Stand first. We have Ghoul Trouble, Razor Backpack, and the Animancer's Folly. Okay. Well, oh, it even lights up the face. Nice. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna end this episode here, my friends. In the next one, we're gonna start the trials for the surviving face and see how they go. As always, if you have... by the way, as always, I want to thank you all for being here in the channel with me, watching some PoE2 Deadfire. I hope you guys are enjoying it. If you have any questions, suggestions, or if you just want to say hi, leave a comment below. If you're enjoying the content, consider subscribing for more. There's videos coming out every single day, and I hope to see you all in the next episode. Until then, stay safe, everyone. Mr. Chonchi.